A lot of people say, okay, it's faith based and all of that, and then why do we have secular actors in those movies?
in those
If you don't want us
movies.
to ask this, I can take it
Let's
out.
ask
Okay, so why do we have secular actors
actors.
in those movies?
So I think that people should do what is within the area of their convictions. So for example, for me, when I started making films, there were some things that the Lord was clear on when it came to instructions about what I should and shouldn't do.
Last week I was watching T30. All of a sudden, I know that they do T30 regular. All of a sudden, I see that he's in UK. Next, he's back in Nigeria. He's preaching. I don't think Pastor has rested since they did reboot camp. Because I actually keep track record. I was like, after the service, he was back on Sunday, went to Canada, came back, and just kept going, kept doing midweek. So he did Tari,
I think he makes the effort to rest. Of course, as his wife, I do wish he would rest more. But I know that he tries. He tries. And then beyond that, he has his priorities straight. So he's not. Of course, he's a driven person, loves the Lord, is very passionate about what God has called him to do. And he's passionate about excellence. He will say, let people who are not working for money work harder than us who are working for souls. And I think that that's so powerful. But he also really shows up for his family.
Yes.
He does. He
says that a lot.
He really shows up for his family. No matter how busy he is, just really being a very present dad. And he also really is very particular about his work with the Lord. So no matter how busy my husband is, he must pray personally. Not even praying for like ministry or things or people, but just personal devotion. He must study his Bible, personal devotion. He must learn something new every day. He just has that. He's just really a great guy. Great guy.
Do you think it's just peculiar to him, or
I think that he's done the work.
Okay.
I think that the discipline necessary to do what he's doing at the level that he's doing it. Of course, there's a lot of grace, but I think he's also really very intentional about putting systems and structures in place, and he tries his very best. Nobody's perfect, but he does try his very best, and he's a great guy. Not be sure. He's really a great guy.
What are some key lessons aside him being your pastor? What are some things that you learned from him?
I learned from my husband how to be audacious. I think that's a major thing. My parents taught me to be confident. But I think there was also a conservative way in which I may have always made decisions before meeting my husband. But he'll say, why don't you do it big? Why don't you? So he would always push you to be better. Not necessarily define you by how well you're doing, but just from the moment we're friends, if you see yourself, when I saw myself through his eyes, I loved what I saw, and it inspired me to be better. So he's also very, very, very intentional about believing in people, investing in people. He's a people's person in the real sense of the word. So he would really root for people that he believes in. He's very wise. I think everybody knows Apostle knows Bible, but he's also very perceptive about things that might not even be directly Bible related. Another thing I would say is that my husband is quite teachable as a person, and I think that that's something that that's really blessed us in our marriage, because you have somebody who's willing to do better, even though he's a strong person in his own rights. And he may not always respond to situations the way I would respond, because we're two different people. But I've seen a lot of growth, constant growth, and just a heart that does love the Lord and love people, and is very passionate about the body of Christ as a whole. And he really does care about people. And I think those are the things I've learned from him: to care about people, to be audacious, to work hard, to think outside the box, to do things big. And not downplay your graces. I think I just really, because I followed my husband longer than we've been married.
Yes.
And I remember many years ago, I was in 200 level, so 100 level. I started following him we're friends from my 100 level. I think ministry started when I was in 200 and he was in 100. I joined Value Fellowship at the time. I remember him gathering us. How old were we? 16, 17. and we're 5.
Yes.
He said, so how can we take Lagos in 2 years? I'm like, bro, I just arrived from secondary school. But he's always really been just that big picture person.
Yes.
But really with a very humble heart.
Yes, ma'am.
In terms of being a big dreamer, being a big achiever, but also just really having a heart for people. But he's not somebody that you can take advantage of.
Yeah.
So
definitely.
he's very balanced in that area.
What about kindness? 'Cause I remember there was a time that he shared a story one time that you guys were in the bus and maybe somebody came to beg for alms and then he was about to give the person you not tapped him and said, "What are you doing?"
No. That was it. I don't want to speak on that. That's not exactly what happened.
Yeah.
But I don't want to speak on that because that's a that's a different. That's not how it happened.
Okay.
But my husband is the kind of person that would just say, God asked us to give this person this thing, and to be a very big thing. Or he'll say, I don't know if I remember to tell you, but we did this thing for this person, and it's not once a month, it's not twice a month. He just really has a heart for people. He's a really, really, really kind person, and he. Of course, I think for us as believers, it's a case of let your right hand not know what your left hand is doing. So there are some things that Apostle Iren has done that is in heaven. Some people will know. Is in heaven. Some people will know. Just lives changed by he just has that. He's constantly thinking about, okay, what can we do for this person? How can we? He's very, and he's always been like that. Even when maybe we didn't have all the resources, he would always just really show up for people. When I was in 100 level, not 200 level, I used to have an organization called Laju Iren. And what we used to do then, I don't run it anymore. I'd rather contribute to causes I believe in because I don't enjoy the day-to-day of running a foundation. But then one of the first things we did was we fed all of the security men in school at
I
that
heard
time.
that about you. Cleaners too.
Yes, all the you're very right. Cleaners and security men. You don't hear plenty just to. And I remember we were running out of money, and he was just my friend at that time, and he attended the youth fellowship that I was a part of, and he came back in an envelope, and then they used to sell food tickets for as low as 100 naira in CU then. So he came with an envelope. We were feeding them in cafeteria. He said, "I just wanted to give you this to support what you are doing." And it touched me for a large number of reasons. First of all, we had not calculated properly. You're in 100 level, it's only for the first time. I was already panicking. How will we feed the remaining people? And then he just shows up and says, I want to support. And we were able to feed like the remaining 10, 15 people on that money that he gave me in an envelope that day. And he's been like that consistently over the years. So he's really a great guy. And for me, I think it was never just about how does the person I marry treat me. It was also about how he treats others, even the least of these. And he's very, beyond being generous, is very respectful of people as well.
Powerful. Yeah, he also speaks so highly of you. I remember he said recently that you bought him sandals, that he likes it, and he was telling everybody, my wife bought me sandals. And then you also polished the sandal for him. So he also definitely speaks so highly of you and loves you so much. Yeah, so Pastor, let us now enter into
I thought we were rounding off.
Yeah, we're rounding up.
Okay.
That's what we're going into film.
Okay.
Yes, so movies. What would you say? What would you, because everyone goes into an industry, there are definitely problems they're trying to solve or things they have seen that should be better. What would you say Laju Iren Films has brought to the table or is bringing to the table?
I like this question a lot. I think for us, and we are seeing more of that now. First of all, I respect the way everybody makes the films that God has called them to make, because there are some audiences that I would speak to that some other people might not speak to. There are some audiences that some other people would speak to that I may not really be able to speak to in my work. But I wanted to do Christian stories that were relatable without necessarily pushing the envelope in terms of conviction. So, for example, I think that was very important to me. I didn't feel like people needed to be so unnecessarily physical to show that it's a natural progression in a relationship. But I also didn't feel that they needed to be standoffish. in terms of the way they related. So I think for me, it was really about making inspiring stories creatively and relatably. I think that was a major thing. But I know that many more people are doing that now. But when we first started, that was really the goal, because you have extremes many times when it comes to filmmaking, where people say something is a Christian film, but all the thing does is cast aspersion on the faith, on the church. And I'm not saying that the church is perfect.
Yes, yes.
Because, for example, if you watch Loving Amanda, my first feature, you see two different sides of the church. You see some people who are pretty judgmental, but you also really see church people who are loving, which is the true state of things. I remember preaching a message, or was it a TED Talk? And I was talking about how many people here have had the church pay their house rent or their school fees, or start a business for them, or show up for them when they were depressed emotionally, and everybody's hand was up. And I was like, where are the stories?
People don't say it.
Where are the stories? But there are lots of examples and experiences like that. There can be a tendency to go for the loud controversial stories. It's easy to make a loud controversial story and slap Christianity on it, but to really be very intentional about presenting the truth of what Christ stands for, of what the church stands for, and to deal with like real life issues. So, for example, we've dealt with issues like male infertility before, and probably we'll still touch a little bit on it in ONOBIREN. In fact, in Silver Ever After, it wasn't just male infertility.
Yeah.
It had to do with male sexuality, but it wasn't
full blown.
It was just something that was a natural conversation starter. So talking about the issues, but not in a way that is obscene, but also not sugarcoating the issues in the name of this is faith-based. Yes. So I think that balance is, if I always say that, I don't know about the devil being in the details, but if you look at the extremes, you'll find him there.
Yes,
so just really bringing balanced storytelling, I think, is so important. Just beyond how faith speaks to the faith aspect of our lives, how faith speaks to every aspect of our lives. And I think that stories change our minds by targeting our hearts. So I think that would be it for us. Just creative storytelling in a way that is relatable, but that still has faith at the core. That would be it for.
Yeah, I think that brings clarity. But okay, before as we start to round up gradually, it won't be right for me if I don't ask this question, because one of my people asked me, and I said if I see Pastor Laju, I'll ask. A lot of people say, okay, it's faith based and all of that, and then why do we have secular actors in movies?
In those
movies? If you don't want us to ask this, I can take it out.
Ask.
Okay, so why do we have secular actors in those movies?
So I think that people should do what is within the area of their convictions. So, for example, for me, when I started making films, there were some things that the Lord was clear on when it came to instructions about what I should and shouldn't do.
Yes.
One of them was, if people are not married, they don't kiss in my films. If they're not married in real life, they don't kiss in my films. That's me. Decent dressing was also a thing, but we wanted it to be as real as possible without necessarily crossing into and then it also came to do with what do the stories themselves stand for, because when you start a business many times, so if you come on my sets, you would realize that like 90% of the people on the crew are believers.
Wow.
At least 90. But for us, it was, we want actors who, it's okay, who are well behaved, who are, if we find a good actor who is a believer and can deliver, fine by us. But I cared more about finding actors that were drama free.
Controversy.
Not that. No, not even not that, because people can do better. They can have a past and come back and do better. True. But I used to always say that the only drama I want on set is the one we are acting.
I like that.
Like I don't want you to start insulting my crew so those are the things that we looked out for. But like I said, I think that if people say that this is their instruction from the Lord to make a film where all the actors are born again and church people, and that's what the Lord has told them to do. I think that's absolutely fine. But it wasn't an instruction that I myself received. So at the end of the day, there are some people who will only watch a film. Well, everybody's a believer, and that's fine. Do you understand? There's some people who say, I only want to watch what's it called? Nollywood no faces. That's also fine. Some of the things that we do, for example, is we bring our own people and we bring the Nollywood people and we put them together. Some other times I've also realized that there are some people who are what you call a no-Nollywood face that I've never really had the chance to be on a Christian set, but probably once had spiritual convictions or were believers. But the pressures of the world and the cares, I've had someone tell me, I'm so grateful for your set because I didn't feel like I had to kiss anybody in a way that made me uncomfortable. I was comfortable with the way I was treated, with the space that I was given. When I've had people say, when I first started making films, there was no set like this where I felt safe enough to express my convictions. So there are people that you are going to reach simply because of that. But I think it came down to, if I have an instruction to only do this, it doesn't matter what anybody else says. But I don't have any such convictions. I do know that if I make a story, I'm clear about what the story stands for. I'm clear about what the story stands for. I'm intentional also about the business aspect of filmmaking for me. And it doesn't mean that any other person who does it purely as ministry is in the wrong, because remember, I'm talking about personal convictions. But because I'm intentional about that, that also comes to play in the decisions I make. But if I find somebody who's a believer, who's a good actor, I'll probably throw them in with somebody who most people profess. There are some people who profess faith, but are not yet there. So you might, when you talk to them, say this person believes in Jesus, but they are not yet in that 100% yet. And I will not, for example, I'm not inviting the person to preach in my church or to disciple people. Or and I'm not saying for the life of this person, because many of us who run businesses have people who are unbelievers running those businesses, who are working in those businesses. And you don't say, why are you here? Yeah. So it comes down to personal convictions, what as the Lord told you, and understanding too that sometimes working with people is also a tool for evangelism, where you meet this person at a Nollywood level, but you are able to connect on a deeper level and actually reach them with the gospel. But like I said, if I receive an instruction from the Lord, only tongue-speaking believers, I will do it. But I haven't received such instruction. So that's why I moved the way I moved.
Okay, that's beautiful. At least it brings clarity, because some people even ask me, even some people in this studio, at one point think
at the end of the day.
Yeah.
But it's fine if people have that conviction, absolutely.
Okay, beautiful. All right, so Pastor Laju, I don't want to keep you too long. I don't know, I cringe when I say Pastor Laju, because I wanted this to be, but it's okay. It's all right. All right. ONOBIREN, what should we expect? I've been seeing reviews. I saw Auntie Tara, watch it. She was looking so excited. I saw
I've seen people that were crying.
Haven't.
I'm going to post that one next week or later this week.
Yes. I also saw that you have a podcast specifically for the woman's podcast.
The woman's story.
The woman's story, yes. And I saw the reviews are writing. So what should we expect from it?
A number of people have told me this is the best Laju Iren film I've seen. And I'm very tempted to agree with them. Because in terms of execution, we went 110%. So artistically, this is our best work so far. Stories can be relative. There's some people that no matter what I do in this world, this is a Loving Amanda I made in 2021, it will be their best film. But I also think it's a very unique story. We haven't done anything like this in particular before. So artistically, in terms of cinematography, set design, we shot in Warri and in Lagos.
Oh, wow.
So when you see all those actual people on the river, on the sea, we used real fisher women. Oh, wow. So yeah, we went all out. We shot some scenes in the King's Palace in Warri. We shot some scenes in Lagos.
That's Olu of Warri.
Yes, in Olu of Warri's Palace. Their foundation, Rural Library Foundation, partnered with us on that. And then the story is very unique. It starts in a particular way, but it doesn't continue in the way we think is going to continue, because we wanted something that elevates. Excuse me.
It's okay.
wanted something that elevates women's voices from away from the norm. So it's a woman's story, but in many ways it's kind of a man's story. It's kind of a faith story. It's kind of a business story. It's kind of a love story. So it's really a lot of things. It is one thing, but within that one thing there are lots of layers to it. This is, I think, the largest all-star cast ensemble we've had.
Yes,
So Priscilla Zoko, Nobe Young, Bisola, Ruby Akobreze, Trude, Desmond Bright. I know I'm forgetting somebody. I know I'm forgetting. Please, who is the person I'm forgetting? Tell me now.
I think you've said it on the poster.
But we have Timitokpe. Ade there from Just Us Girls. I watched Just Us Girls and I was like, I like you. So we do. It's a beautiful film. It's gonna be a film that makes you even more empathetic to the people around you. It's be a film that makes you dream, that makes you want to do better for the community as a person. And I think a film that does in many ways strengthen your faith. So the acting is 100%, the production is 100%. It's a beautiful story in itself. So just like wow, hey, yes, no. So what? Maybe we can have a conversation later when it's out. You say, Pio, you told me, and I'll be like, yeah, I told you. Well, yeah. I think I believe I know that we did good work, and every other person who's seen it agrees that we did great work.
How many